and welcome to Wolves World for a special episode today where I will be talking about the upcoming January transfer window and how Wolves will need to dip into the market to provide cover for the absent Jimenez. Before I get into the video, please hit like, subscribe and the notification bell to see more of my content, which will be increasing through the transfer window in particular. Two things to note before I start today. First of all, I am a massive fan of Fabio Silva. I think he has done at least what is expected of him in these difficult circumstances when he was not expected to play, certainly as much as he has at this point in the season. So I am not in any way trying to shunt him out of the team. I just feel, and it's been obvious from the performances and lack of goals from Wolves, certainly since Jimenez's absence, we do need another striker to be brought in. Second thing is, none of what I'm saying today is directly linked to facts. A lot of what I'm saying is my own opinion using the research that I've been doing over the last few days to put together this list of players. Player number one to talk about is Divock Costa. Now, we know exactly as Premier League fans what we will be getting from Divock Costa. The guy is an animal. He is aggressive. He can play with his back to goal. Despite not seeing him too much in recent years, I imagine he's still got a yard of pace more than some centre-halves to slip the ball in when played through, and he is a threat aerially, which will play into the hands of our sort of pacey wider players, particularly Traore, who has been crying out for someone to get on the end of the occasional cross that he puts in the box. Few pros and cons of Costa. Pro is he is an established player with proven pedigree in the Premier League, and he would, I have no doubt, come in and make an immediate impact and certainly improve the options Wolves have straight away. The main negative of Costa is he would demand, I'm sure, quite a large salary. He is available on a free now, having had his contract terminated at Atletico, and I would be thinking his salary would put him at least in the top couple at Wolves, if not higher. However, there is an option for me that Wolves clearly only need a player for 6 months, we hope, until Jimenez is back. Now, if that is the case, I think Costa would maybe be willing to take a smaller pay packet from Wolves, knowing that in 6 months' time he's free to pursue a large salary somewhere else, such as Brazil or China, which is being talked about for him at the moment. For me, there is no doubt that Costa would improve this team. Therefore, I have given him a rating of A+ if he was to arrive at Wolves in January. However, the likelihood of this transfer, I'm only giving a B. This is because there are other teams in for him, and I think the option to take a pay cut to come to Wolves is one that he may not be favourable towards. Also, the likelihood of this transfer happening beyond the transfer window, I've got down as an E. I see absolutely no reason why Nuno would go against his philosophy to try and get Silva in the summer. I think it's a now or never move for Silva, and it's one that I certainly would be excited to see. Player number two that I would like to talk about is Divock Origi. Again, a player who has played in the Premier League for a number of years now and the Champions League, impressively so for Liverpool, and I think again we know what we would get for him. You get a lot of energy, you get goals sort of sporadically, but he hasn't always started, whereas I think if he came to Wolves in January he would be playing a lot from the start and throughout a game, so I'd be interested to see how that goes. Origi is a player with lots of talent, lots of pace, can play as a 1 or a 2, and I think would give Wolves some really interesting options to come in January. I'm giving this signing a B+. I think Origi would be a great signing immediately in January. However, there are possibly better options on this list. Having said that, I've given the likelihood of him arriving an A. I think there has been talk of Origi for a while now. I think with the Jota transaction, we might be looked upon favourably as a destination for him. And I also think Wolves and Liverpool will be quite happy to start with a loan deal, whether it culminates in a potential transfer or not in the summer. I think it's a good option all round for everybody. Origi will get playing, Wolves will get the cover, and whether it's permanent in January or later, it's a really good deal for Wolves, and I think for Liverpool at this moment in time too. Moving on from that, his arrival in the summer is one I have placed at a B+. I think he is very likely to come in the summer even if he doesn't arrive in January. So possibly keeping ourselves ready for that transfer is something that might crop up later in the year. The third player I want to talk about is Josh King. Josh King is another player who I think a lot of Wolves fans have enjoyed watching when he was in the Premier League with Bournemouth. He's all action, lots of energy, can play again a number of positions in the forward line and would really strengthen Wolves' team. Some negatives about Josh King are that he's not played a lot of football so far this year. I think he's played 6 or 7 games for Bournemouth to this point, and a lot of that has been because he is hankering for a move away. This move away could have cost B Wolves, and it may be on a loan again to start with rather than an immediate permanent transfer, which would also get him through the door quicker, which I think right now is what Wolves need to be trying to do. We can't be waiting until the end of January to get someone in. Josh King for me would be a very solid choice, especially as I don't think he'd be one of the more expensive players on this list for either his salary or his transfer fee. So I've given Josh King an A- for the transfer signing. The likelihood I have given a B+, because I do think Bournemouth clearly are trying to get rid of him, or he is actively trying to get himself out the door. So I do think there's a move on the cards for him, and it could well be Wolves. Also, I think the likelihood of him being with us beyond the summer is quite high. I've given that an A. I think he's a player that would add to the Wolves system. I think he fits in generally with Nuno's kind of philosophy on the younger players with lots of energy who are willing to work hard, and I think he still wouldn't cost a lot even if he came in January, did well and went back. I think his fee would still be very reasonable, so I would consider Josh King in this window for sure. Player number 4 is a little bit left field, and it's rumours that started a while ago but have quietened down, but I think Milik from Napoli would be an excellent signing for Wolves. Milik is apparently trying to leave, or indeed they are happy to see him leave, and he is worth not a great deal of money for a player of his sort of calibre, international experience and age, with him still only being 26. Having not seen a great deal of Milik other than the sort of Champions League football he's played, and maybe for Poland a couple of times, what I have seen is that he is pacey. He has got really good movement on and off the ball. He's capable of playing on the left side and through the middle as a 1 or a 2, and he is very intelligent. He's got an excellent goal-to-game ratio for Napoli throughout his time there, one that actually surprises me. They're trying to, or happy to see him leave. So I think he is a player that, when you compare to Lewandowski, you've got to be taking him seriously. All those things considered, I think the likelihood of him arriving in January is pretty low, and even if he did, I don't think he'd be arriving at the start of January, which makes him a less attractive option. He is going as a B- for me for likelihood. As an actual strike rating, I do think he would be an excellent signing, whether it was on loan now or permanently now or in the summer, so I have given him a B+. And the likelihood of him being here beyond January and with us maybe joining in the summer, I think is also a B+. I think if he doesn't get his move in January to us or somewhere else, is the price they're talking about, his experience and his age, I just think he'd be a sensible signing and one without too much risk attached. The next player I'm going to talk about will split opinion, and that is Salomon Rondon. Now, I am a big fan of Salomon Rondon. Yes, he was a baggy, and yes, he has done well for them and Newcastle in that time, but at the end of the day, needs must, and he is a player that would arrive cheaply. I think he would arrive quickly, and I think his salary would be very low. He is also the perfect player in our system when he plays to his potential. He is aerially very strong, he is good with his back to goal, and he has shown that he can score goals when playing regularly, and I think Wolves would be offering him that situation. Another positive of Rondon is, given his age and sort of his recent career choices, when Jimenez, or if Jimenez does return, he will not mind being a cover player. So whether we got him in for 6 months or slightly longer, he would happily still be a squad player for Wolves, I've got no doubt about it. Whereas other players on this list, if they weren't player number 1, striker number 1, they would probably get a bit disgruntled in the way we saw with Catroni, and we just don't need that in our squad. So for me, Rondon is getting a B+ for his potential signing rating, and he's also getting an A for the likelihood. It has quietened down a little bit, but something in here tells me that Rondon could well be on his way to Wolves in the near future. His likelihood of being with us beyond the summer, however, is very low. I've gone for an E, because he doesn't fit in with the Nuno philosophy, and he's not a player that is doing anything other than filling a clear gap in our squad that we have right now. Player number 6 is Maxi Gomez from Valencia, a 24-year-old who has done very well in Spain over the last few years. He's a Uruguay international and has a lot of potential. It is fair to say I don't know a lot about this player. However, what I have read, I have enjoyed reading, and the highlights I've seen, he looks like the sort of player who could fit into Wolves' system very well. To quote one source I read about his style of play, he is a no-thrill centre-forwards with zero pace but an excellent target man. To be described as having zero pace is quite rare in the modern game, but I think they were just emphasising his game would be back to goal and scoring from crosses, which about 75% of his goals are headers, which for Valencia is a high proportion of the goals he scored in his total career. He is described as a battering ram who gets on the end of crosses. Now, in my mind, I've got Mitrovic, very similar sort of player, and I think if he was indeed a Mitrovic, we've talked about the links with Mitrovic in the past, I would happily see a player of that ilk, which Maxi Gomez sounds like he is, coming in. However, Maxi Gomez's next move from Valencia will be one that he is hoping to make a substantial pay rise on, because he's at the age in his career and he's been touted as a decent player. I don't think he'll be moving anywhere either cheaply as a transfer fee, and I think his salary would be again very high. Also on top of that, when Jimenez, or hopefully if Jimenez returns, I can't see Maxi Gomez being happy sitting behind him in the pecking order. And Nuno, yes, he's made some changes to his lineups recently, but he rarely will go with two out-and-out strikers, and I think his time could be limited if Jimenez returns. But if you can get him on side with that, he could be an excellent addition to the team. With that being said, I've given his actual signing rating an A. I think he would be an excellent signing for Wolves, given his age and his potential. And he might cost a bit, but at the moment I think that is the sort of transfer Wolves could be doing. The likelihood, however, I've given a C+. I do not think he will be coming in January unless it's a loan with the chance to buy, which is quite popular amongst Nuno and other clubs at the moment. So it could happen, but I think Valencia would be willing or looking to cash in on this player if they were letting him go. The likelihood of him being with us in the future, however, I have given a B+. I do think he fits the mould. A lot of characteristics I like about him, and people have said good things about him, so there is a fair chance he could be with us from the summer or onwards after we've got through this tough 6-month period without Jimenez. And the final player I want to speak about is Luka Jovic. The reason I'm speaking about him last is because I think there is little to no chance of him coming to Wolves, as given by my D rating for likelihood, but obviously he would be for me an A signing if he came. Again, not a player I've seen a great deal of in recent months, but certainly when he was scoring all his goals before his move to Madrid, he was a player you heard about every week on football platforms, and that is a player that is exciting to even be linked with, even if I don't feel he will arrive. The only negative of Jovic is that he is not a good player with his back to goal. He's very much a striker who wants through balls and crosses to come into him. His link-up play is apparently very good, but he's mainly known for his finishing and movement, ability to shoot with both feet and get on the end of crosses with his sort of intelligence. So while he is an excellent signing right now, I'm not sure that he will be arriving in January, nor will he be here beyond that, because Madrid have made a large commitment to him, and I expect that that will be seen through, and if not, they will not be willing to take a huge loss on the money spent. So I think good to discuss him, lovely to be linked with him, but very unlikely he will arrive. So they are the 7 players that Wolves have generally been linked with, or that I have brought to the discussion today. For me, we need someone who's willing to come in and make an impact immediately, which puts Diego Costa at the top of my preference list. However, he is closely followed by Divock Origi and Solomon Rondon. I think those 3 players would all immediately benefit Wolves. I think they would come with either a low transfer fee or a low salary and transfer fee combined. And for 6 months options, I think those 3 are my favourite choices. Origi would be the player I would like to see if one was to come in permanently in January, coupled with the likeliness of them coming in January. That is Origi for me. Josh King slightly behind, only because I'm not sure he will provide the increasing goals that those other three players will. I think he's an excellent player and I would happily see him in a Wolves shirt, but I think for right now, Costa or Origi are the ways to go. So that's my opinions on this matter. It would be great to hear what you think in the comments below. Please like, subscribe and share. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and hopefully we can have some more videos and feedback soon enough. Thank you very much. Bye bye.